Okay. All right, I'm calling the meeting to order. I believe it was 6:03. And basically, the PRC attendance here is Mary Ellen, Sarah, myself, Ron, and Don. And Brendan, you're out on the phone somewhere?
I'm here.
Good. Tim is not making it for some reason, and I don't know about Missy. Do you know about Missy at all, Don?
I don't.
Okay. All right. So, previous meeting minutes approval. Looked good to me. Anybody have any questions about the October 5th meeting for additions and subtractions? No? Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve, please? The minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Okay. Is that second?
I'll second.
Okay. No other discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? No. Abstained? No. Okay. Good enough. We approved those minutes, and I think if somebody can make a motion to bump up the community garden shed, Jim Ward's presentation, to take that, even though it's under new business, make a motion to move it up right now, so.
I'll move to move it up in the agenda.
Okay. Someone second, please?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? No. Abstained? No. Jim, you're up.
Thank you.
Community garden shed and the community garden second year, very successful.
Yes.
Yes.
2 successful years here. That's great support from everybody in town. The reason we're here is there's an organization, I don't want to name it right now because I want them to be able to, I told Don who it was and he can share it with you later, but I want them to be able to announce what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
That's how they approached us, and they wanted to do something, they want to become a big supporter of ours. And so they want to know a couple projects we had in
You can sit
mind.
down if you want up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple projects we had in mind.
Yeah.
And we threw 2 projects out to them. We're trying to work with the middle school to utilize their greenhouse with educational purposes too. But we're running into problems getting somebody in there to fix the greenhouse. And the other thing is we bought a tractor this year, a used tractor. We had applied for a grant through United Way. And that grant didn't come through for us. So we used some funds we had and bought a used tractor. With the intentions of down the road saving some money aside and putting up a shed. But that was the other big project we threw out to this organization. And they want to take that on. So what we're looking at is we expanded the garden, and I apologize for not, ahead of time, for not letting you guys be informed. I really didn't think there was an issue. But the white is the expansion. The white area is the expansion, and the top is where the field house is. So we're looking at putting that white square, putting a 12 by 20 shed garage, essentially, with an open door tractor and a small area back to perform maintenance or work on the tractor and store some tools there. Shed would be the same as our goal is to have the same shed as we have down there.
Want to show them too? Everybody can see.
Yeah, same as.
Yeah.
So that's it. And obviously, if you guys say okay, then I know we have to go through zoning and all that kind of stuff to get their approval and that kind of stuff. So we're looking at a stone pad like we have the shed on, and then they drive it in there and plop it down. That being said, we may have to have it constructed there because our gates aren't quite big enough. And there's only a 10-foot gate going into the field. So
The gate for your garden.
Well, the gate going in where the chain is into the rec field is only 10 feet. But I think they can raise that truck up and go over that.
Oh, okay.
But then our gates are only 12 feet, 12 feet 1 inch, as a matter of fact, and the building's 12 feet. So that's our request.
Okay, of course, you go to land use people, to Eric, I guess, to make sure that...
Yeah, it's just like we just...
Possible, Don, maybe for you and I, or to just go walk through with Jim or you, just to talk about the position of this shed?
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably fine. There should be lots of space, and I know at least for that vernal pool, you're not within 100
no.
feet. Yeah.
The shed right here
Yeah.
is on that 100-foot thing for that pool.
Right.
So we're nowhere near that.
Yeah, so it should be okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem there. I just
You just have to go through zoning.
Yeah, exactly.
The shed approved.
Yep.
Anyone from Park and Rec said this is great. I'm so glad your garden is as successful as it is.
Yeah, we composted. We also composted 1,000 pounds of food waste we've taken out of the, people dropping off food waste down by my house and at the garden. So, and then we're having a pumpkin drop off this Saturday. So instead of throwing your pumpkin in the trash, drop it off and we'll compost it.
And doing a great effort for the community. Anybody have any questions? This looks pretty straightforward.
No problem.
Any comments? Yeah, Jim, just keep it up.
And I'm sorry, what did you say the size?
12 by 20.
12 by 20, and so all this is going to be new gardens like you have up there, kind of? This whole white box?
This section right here already has rows tilled and getting ready for next year.
Yeah.
This section here, we're just going to throw some black plastic and solarize it and make it a pumpkin patch for next year. Just kill. We don't want to take off too much. I mean, one reason we expanded is we had so many volunteers this year that we used to run 2 work days from 9 to 12. At 11 o'clock, we're sending people home because we got everything done.
Yeah.
We did over 1,000 man hours with over 33 separate individuals. So we took our expand, and put more rows in. But we're just doing half that next year just to make sure we keep that volunteer basis up, make sure we can handle it, and then take it on from there.
But you got all the funding in place, which is great. So.
Yeah, we got the watering. Yep, we got all the irrigation. We'll have to irrigate down there. So.
I was just curious. Like, I know, like my parents used to, before they passed on, they used to live at an old place for people that were older and healthy. And so many people were in the gardening. Does anybody from the senior center volunteer on your group? I thought that was going to be a natural match.
We have some seniors that volunteer, but they were volunteers, then became seniors or whatever. The seniors, half the seniors don't even know we exist. We have some volunteers that bring cut flowers over there.
Yeah.
They, where's these coming from?
Yeah. Well, you may like to just make a little quick presentation over there to let them know you exist.
Yeah. Well, that's why we bought the tractor, is because we are an older group, and we're really trying to that's why we're trying to get into the middle school and utilize that greenhouse so we can start getting kids involved. I mean, we have some really young kids, like 2, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds to come out. But we'd love to get the high school kids, and if we can get that middle school going, get them ingrained in their gardening and stuff like that we might get some young bodies out.
Okay, well, very good. I don't have any other comments or questions. Anybody else? I think this is a pretty straightforward one. Does somebody like to make a motion to say that this plan looks good, pending working with the zoning folks? Somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion that this plan looks good.
Yeah, for the community garden and shed. Yeah.
For the community garden and shed, pending working with the zoning folks.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, Mary Ellen, you got that one?
Pending,
Working with zoning.
Yeah. I guess you just have to go to Eric Knapp, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right, his last time
This should be pretty,
Pretty
Later.
straightforward for this shed, other shed, so
yeah. Okay, so you want to read that motion, Mary Ellen, please?
Ryan moved that the plan.
Oh, we need somebody a second.
Oh,
no,
second.
wait, no, you have to read it, that's
Yeah.
right, read it first,
Okay.
yeah. Go.
Ryan moved that the plan looks good for the community garden and shed pending working with zoning. Correct?
Okay. Sounds good, somebody second, please?
Seconded?
Yeah.
Sarah, you second it? Okay, any other discussion? No, I don't think we need any more discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. You're done, Jim.
thank you for your time.
We thank you
your
for,
support, you know.
we thank you for all you've done. I mean, this is,
Thank you.
but really, you should see if some of the seniors,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they should really, because they seem to love doing that.
yeah.
Yeah, and they probably could help them in this expansion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Jim,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
We got a message that Missy is on the phone.
Oh, Missy, you on the phone? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad that you're able to get on the phone. So we add that, Mary Ellen, Missy's with us now. Okay, now, next spot is for the director's report, update of PRC programs and facilities. Don?
That's fine. I just got a quick question. Matt, are you here to discuss something or
The T-ball thing, that area,
so something? I didn't know you
Something quick?
were coming tonight.
Yeah, we didn't know.
I can come another night.
No, that's fine. If this could be discussed in new business, and if you wanted to move him up,
Yeah, what?
Can we make a motion?
Okay, but, yeah, okay, someone make a motion to move, but Matt, what is the business you want to talk about?
The creation of a T-ball field,
Oh, creation of a T-ball field.
it's an area that's not utilized, it's between our current boys majors field
Yeah?
and the new tennis court. It's large enough to accommodate.
what if you make the motion first?
Okay, yeah, all right, so would someone like to make a motion to move that up?
Well, we're really moving any other
From
business.
it would be from any new business, because we didn't know about this.
All right, I'll move to move any other new business to this point on the agenda.
Second.
Second, okay, any more discussion, to let Matt, do a presentation? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, anyone opposed? No. Abstained? No. Okay, Matt?
It's an area between the current boys majors field and the tennis courts.
God bless you.
What I'd like to do is be a clay infield, so what would be required, as far as I know, and I would check with Ed Adante to make sure that there are nothing underneath the ground there. I don't believe that there is, and just to make it a clay infield, put a set of bases out there, and then, like I said, it would accommodate a little league-sized infield, but there'd be no grass cutting, because it's all going to be clay, similar to the Townwood softball field, but not as big as that.
Okay, and exactly where would this go?
Well, we've got the garage, the ball field, and then the tennis courts, and then there's this, it's about 120 by 120 areas that's, just has grass on it.
That's, we used to have the volleyball or something there.
The tennis court, the volleyball,
Oh, was there?
Yeah, but no longer, so this,
hasn't been for years.
yeah, so this is a open area.
Actually, you don't have to vote on it now, it's just something we'd like to get.
And you have funding to do all this, or you have funding to
Oh,
do
yeah,
this?
I don't want your money.
The town loves to hear that.
Matt, would that require taking out the batting cage?
No, in fact, we're planning on extending that batting cage, so we get two full-size ones there. And you have to realize with the influx of kids we're now looking at the next year, probably 6 coach pitch teams. And every year we always have at least 6 T-ball teams. So roughly that's 120 kids. And they all have to practice. So that we give those T-ball folks, and they're going to practice 1 day a week. It also gives the older kids, the Rangers team, an area, if somebody else is on the main field, hey, you can work on your infield stuff if that's what you want to do. It really does give us a lot of options for the younger players to have their practices and be more organized, rather than just throwing pro bases out in the middle of Townwoods Park.
Yeah, how about don't the pitchers have a place to warm up? Would that, that would not interfere with that, okay?
No, sir.
Okay, well, anyone, Park and Rec commissioners, anyone have any thoughts or questions?
Where do you envision home plate being?
Where the tennis courts meet the batting cage, home plate would be there. It's all completely fenced, so even if little Johnny decides he's going to launch one, not going to throw it over the fence. So, and like I said, it's going to be meant for T-ball, because we just don't have anywhere else.
The T-ball, that they don't hit it very well. Occasionally somebody will hit it far. But would it interfere with anybody watching the game?
No.
Where the home plate is going to be?
Furthest away from the stands. The stands are along the first baseline, and home plate for the T-ball is down the hole already.
But by where the batting cages are?
Correct.
Sounds good. I mean, Don, what do you think?
I'm not averse to it as long as you feel there's room there. I mean, I didn't measure it out, and as long as it doesn't interfere with games.
No.
I know it won't, if they're practicing there, I don't know, a lot of people walking around the concession area and bleacher area and behind the backstop and
what do you
to the
think?
batting cage.
Yeah, I'm just worried if one of those little youngsters actually is a future home run hitter.
I plan on putting a 6-foot chain link fence so that in the event of Mo Vaughn Jr. deciding to yank one off the tee over 120 feet, 6 feet high, the fence is going to catch it.
I think this might be good for a couple of us to go over with you at the site.
Sure.
And
That's
then
a good idea. I would be a little concerned about older kids just seeing a field and starting to pitch on it and stuff and hitting towards spectators possibly, but
I don't know. And this idea about a fence would protect, to protect fans and people just walking from the concession stand. I think we should maybe take Ryan. Would you like?
I'm having a hard time envisioning it. So there would be a fence. I mean, I'm over there a decent amount, but there would be a fence like where people walk, where the bleachers are, right?
Correct.
There'd be you'd create a walkway there to get around to the other side, kind of.
There would be a walkway all the way around behind me. You can walk right through. It would be more than 6 feet wide.
I think maybe a couple of us should go down and so we can really see what this is going to be before we give a final approval. So Ryan, would you volunteer?
Yeah, I'd be happy to go down and check it out.
With Don, because I'm going to be away the next couple of weeks. If you guys go check it out, you and Don, and
we'll figure out a time.
And see how it looks like it's a good plan.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. And I guess we'll then report on that for the next meeting and take it from there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Matt, you're really doing a good job for the kids.
Right.
Baseball, how about baseball enrollments? Is that steadily still going down, or is it going up? It's steady. It's going up.
Well,
good.
We're over 220 kids, more than that.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, good. All right. Well, it sounds pretty good. Let's have a site walk, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Got it. Okay. The next one on the agenda is the director's report. Don?
All right, Mary Ellen, I have the report here, a little more detail than I'll talk about here, but. All right, let's start off with fall youth soccer. We're wrapping up that season this Saturday, November 4th. There were 256 kids registered for soccer this fall. And thanks goes out to the players, parents, volunteer coaches, high school referees, and staff. And despite being a rainy fall season, we had a very good youth soccer season. Co-ed adult soccer ends this Sunday. There are 4 teams up there playing. They will end Sunday, November 5th, with a little 4-team tournament format. Adult basketball is ongoing on Wednesdays and Sundays at the high school. That program runs through December, and to date there are 29 participants registered. And our winter sessions will continue, and the exact dates are being determined presently in conjunction with the high school basketball schedules, which are changing. Adult volleyball is running at the high school on Thursdays. That goes through into December, and again, there's 40 people registered for that. That's very successful. That's where Winnie is tonight. The winter sessions will continue, and again, like basketball, the exact dates are being determined in conjunction with the high school basketball schedules, which are not official yet. They're still coming out. Zumba toning sessions ended on October 30th. They're at the Center School. There were 8 participants registered for that, and the winter sessions are being currently discussed. Yoga sessions ended October 25th at White Sand Beach. There were 8 participants in that, and there will be no winter schedules for that. Winter youth basketball registration started for youth basketball yesterday, November 1st. It'll go through December 1st. The coaches' organizational meeting is scheduled for Saturday, December 16th, and the program will run on Saturdays, January 6th through February 17th, 2024. The program is open to Lyme and Old-Lyme residents, pre-K through grade 5. And as of 1 day of sign-up, that's 2 days of sign-ups, there's already 47 participants registered. On to facilities. Townwoods Park is open daily. Fall soccer, baseball, softball schedules are winding down, and the water is expected to be turned off and the facilities winterized by mid-November. At that point, the goals will be removed and the season-ending field maintenance will be accomplished. Haynes Park is open daily and is used primarily by the rowers. The water also is expected to be turned off and facilities winterized by mid-November. The rowers have been contacted and indicated that the junior program is complete, and adult rowing will continue through early December, obviously weather permitting, and dock removal is currently scheduled for the weekend of December 9th and 10th. White Sand Beach bathrooms are closed and winterized for the season. Cross Lane Park is open daily and used by Lyme Old-Lyme Little League and the general public. Little League activities are expected to wrap up this weekend. Then the water will be turned off, facilities winterized. The tennis court and pickleball court netting will be removed at some point pending weather conditions. The Cross Lane Court reconstruction project is, in my estimation, about 95% complete. The 4 pickleball courts and the 2 tennis courts have been completed. 4 new rims for the 2 basketball courts have been recently received by me, and I'll get them up soon. At this point, 1 basketball court will then be completed. The 2nd basketball court will be painted and lined in the spring, as the weather conditions this fall prevented completion of this. And that was in part because of the rain, and it's also in part because of the trees on that side of Cross Lane area. The sun does not get on those courts very well, which contributed to paint not drying. And I've spoken to Ed Adante. We're getting estimates for some tree removal and trimming near the courts. And then once again, I just want to throw it out there. It is recommended that the Parks and Rec Commission determine if facility usage fees should be instituted and required for outside groups using town facilities, and hopefully decisions can be made prior to the start of the spring season activities. Thank you.
Because the pickleball courts are quite popular, right?
They're used every day.
And does it seem like a lot of people, out of town people coming there, or is that what?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Exactly. I know you brought this up the last meeting about.
What we've done is we're letting it just play out this late fall, see how it goes, and then we're trying to establish what we're going to have for rules and we put a survey out. We're getting stuff back as to what people are looking for to do as far as pickleball, whether they want to just play there, they want to have a league, they want to have lessons, whatever. So we're gathering that information. We'll compile all that stuff and make up some signage to explain all the rules on how it'll work.
Sounds like a good plan.
Best we could do.
Okay. 4 courts now?
There's 4. Yeah, 2 tennis courts. We took there was 3 tennis courts down there years ago. Like I told Matt, there was 4. There's 3 down there, not used very much. So we took one of those and made it the 4 pickleball courts.
And because you put some fencing or something up, they don't.
It doesn't interfere with anybody.
It doesn't interfere or with the 4 courts. One court's not interfering with another court.
No.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, good, very good. Don, you did a great job putting that together, and I'm sure Winnie helped too, and we thank you. And a lot of happy pickleballers, yes, which is.
Have you gotten feedback about it?
Yeah, I talk to people when I pull in there and they're playing and stuff like that, or run to somebody, and everybody's very happy.
Everybody's happy. Good. I know there was. It looks like a lot of communities are doing that these days.
I think if you can't be happy with what's down there, you just can't be happy.
And really, the facilities that this little town provides, not just with Parks and Rec, but all the things we provide. I don't think you could do much better in any community. And so if anybody's complaining, I think the complainers are just complainers. And
Don, your comment about the facility use, is that specifically about pickleball, or are there concerns about all of the new courts?
Everything really. Like if Shoreline Sting softball wants to use Town Woods Park a little bit, stuff like that, because they're not a town organization, even though there are some kids from town. Like if they have a roster of, say, 12 kids, it might be 4 or 5 of them from the line.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So it's an outside organization. We're allowed them to use it because of the room and it fits, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
But I just think that somewhere along the line, we should start collecting some money.
yeah, if an outside organization wants to use any of our facilities, that's probably doing that.
Yeah.
I know with the STEEP grant for Town Woods Park, it's part of the STEEP grant was to allow the general public to also use it, and it's just
As long as it meets scheduling that we have.
yeah, right. If it doesn't interfere with
Right.
the programs the town runs, people can go down there just like any park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
just think it's something that is in time now to think about and collect some money from people, because we have good facilities and people are starting to use them all the time.
We have some of the best facilities.
Well, most of those clubs charge a pretty penny to belong, too.
What's that?
Most of those clubs charge a good amount to play, too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not free to go.
Yeah.
right.
Brendan, Missy, you have anything to comment on with Don's presentation?
Nope, nothing from me.
Yeah, no, thank you for everything.
Okay. All right, Don, yeah, thanks, and thank Winnie for us when you see her, and, yep, keep up the good work. You're amazing. The 2-man show, or 2-person show is really provide a lot extra activities for the community this past year. Okay, the next one is the old business boathouse driveway repair on October 10th. I met with the Board of Selectmen, and as we had known for a while that this repair has to take place because the remediation effort still hasn't solved the problem of water running down through land into the lake. And basically the other problem was that other than it being the driveway shooting straight down and the water being absorbed in permeable surfaces before it gets to the lake, it was shaped like this towards the basketball court. So that was the first problem. Water went on the basketball court, and then Phil Parchik, when he was the facilities director, made a little gully down the side just so the basketball court wasn't going to get affected by the water. But this is not good, and there was no, according to the ordinance for descending driveways, there was no 1.5-inch lip between Route 1 and the driveway, so the water wouldn't rush down. And the other thing is there has to be some elevation of approximately 6 inches, which is the fact on the other driveway. The driveway which goes down to the parking lot still has that from whenever that was done many moons ago. So the water actually doesn't come from Route 1 down that driveway, but it was from this other driveway. So anyway, so we made a presentation, and we explained what we had done I explained it to the select people. The select people heard about the 2 quotes that we had. One quote was from Anton Paving for $12,100, and the other one was for $10,400 from Sullivan Paving. And just to reiterate what Tim Griswold put down here, the water from Route 1 enters the park, and despite some remedial modifications, it has caused problems with the basketball court and other areas. Bob Dunn, Phil Parchik, former facilities director, and Ed Adante went down there a couple times and to look at it and talk about how we could fix all this. And we secured two quotes, and the Sullivan quote came in, what was it? Almost a couple $1,000s cheaper. And so a motion was made to recommend the Sullivan Paving to be hired at a cost of $10,400 to remove the old apron and ramp and install a new apron 10 by 35 feet, a ramp 21 by 45 feet in accordance with the current standards. The town would be responsible for any traffic control on Route 1, and it was also recommended to have a contingency of $3,100 for traffic control and any unforeseen problem we may have in it. So I know one thing, I think Phil wanted to add some extra 3/4-inch stone that was not part of that original estimate, and he hasn't gotten back to me about what that stone is going to cost, but when he does, I'll let everybody know. Thank you for the selectmen agreeing to move this forward to the Board of Finance, which took place, that meeting, the following week. And thanks to the Board of Finance for seeing that this is a problem that has to be fixed. We got it approved. And the contract has been out there. Phil says that because they had weather issues too or something, that it looks like this work will be done at the beginning, not of next week, but the week after. And he's going to work with Don, and Don will work with the president of the Rowing Association to make sure there's no interference for if there's a meet or something that following weekend. And I guess if worst came to worst, you probably could move the trailer down the other driveway. But I think you guys are going to be on top of that, correct? Okay, so we're thankful that the town has decided to go ahead with this project. Phil says that basically that paving can be done, and this type of project can be done usually until about the middle of December, and that's when a lot of the asphalt plants start shutting down.
The hope is this fall?
His latest, when I spoke to him today, is he said he was hoping that it could possibly be started not this coming Monday and Tuesday. I think it's basically a 2-day project, or maybe a little bit over.
Mid-November?
But the following Monday, or not this Monday, but maybe the following Monday, weather permitting, I should say.
No effect on the road stuff, that would be great.
Yeah. So anyway, and thanks once again to the selectmen and board of finance for seeing that this should be attended to. Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? Any comments? No? Okay. Now we go to the PRC Subcommittee for Town Enhancements at Haynes Park, and we have Sarah and Greg here. One thing, I spoke to Sarah yesterday, and I have this table of the finances that are still available to be used on enhancements, and here's one for Martha and one for you, Greg, and I made a bunch of copies. This is the current state of the money that's available, and just to run through this table real fast, the funds are available as of January 19th, $65,174 and change. A signed plaque to the donors that the donors fund paid for $5,594.54. That was paid on 2/26/19. Bike racks have also been added to the price of $365.09, and that was paid on June 29th of 19. The Barnyard Pavilion contract was signed in October 2021. At that time, we had gotten a 25% discount, so to speak, on a 12 by 22 foot pavilion, and we put a 1/3 deposit down on it of $5,776 at the end of October 31 of 21. 2/3 remains of that to pay the Barnyard people for when they deliver it, and that comes to $11,552. So that when you look at the next ones, the funds committed to date have been $41,886, and there's still one thing that has to be determined, what type of pad or cement pad or what we would put underneath the pavilion, and that was going to be at least $6,400 because the pavilion, we were moving over to where the swing sets are. So we're going to have to figure out how to path to both the pavilion and the path to the playground so it's handicap accessible from the parking lot, which is handicap accessible. So the remaining funds are a little less than $35,486.
Thanks for that, Bob. We'll touch on that in our presentation as well, and we aligned on the numbers.
Yeah.
I would note that the 6,000 item is sort of to be determined, as you mentioned. So we approached it more with stating that there's $6,000 left, and then the $41,000 in yours would be net of the $11,500 committed on the pavilion, and then TBD on the $6,000. So it's not confusing where that discrepancy comes from.
That will be $400 because originally it was right next to the sidewalks there.
Right, and we talked about how and you'll hear about it in our presentation, the permeable surface option. So that's more TBD as well, because not necessarily a concrete pad, and they're not really apples to apples at this point, potentially, depending on what's.
I'm just. There's going to be some expense there.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, just in case anyone looked at our number versus this number, I just wanted to.
Yeah, and I think the number that you got didn't include the bike racks, and so our numbers are...
Yeah. Oh, no, I
in
changed
sync
it.
now.
Yeah, they're in sync now. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? We'll put this in the minutes so that Missy and Brendan, can we attach this to the minutes? If not, I know my wife knows how to do it, so she'll help out.
Can we attach it with the revision of deleting the cement pad piece of it and just putting surfacing TBD?
We could do that.
Okay.
So just alter this.
Yeah.
Surfacing for pavilion and handicap accessible paths. Now, you can have a path only 3 feet wide. You don't have to have it as wide as a sidewalk, right, Martha? You agree with that?
We'll check with Amy Benatti.
Excuse me?
We can check with Amy with social service. She's our ADA compliant person.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We can check with her.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll make sure everything is copacetic with that. But I believe you can put a 3-foot wide path as long as you have a turnaround, a certain amount of... But of course, we'll talk to the expert about that. Okay, so, yeah, I'll when I get home, I'll work with my wife to change that and just put to be determined. Is that what you want?
Sure, thanks.
Without a figure.
And can
Send it off to her?
Huh?
Can you send the correction first?
Yeah, I'll send it to you when you're gonna, yeah. And I'll send it to her on submission, and we'll include it on the minutes.
Okay.
Attach the minutes. Okay. All right, and we'll just leave question marks, I guess. Right, Sarah? You just want, rather than a hard number, question marks, what it's gonna cost.
Sure. Yeah, we've been using
determined.
EST
To
TBD.
to be determined and just a question mark.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, all right. Good. Okay, Greg, it looks like you're the projectionist and the talker.
Well, I think there's going to be a collaborative effort.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay,
Look forward to seeing it.
okay, so go ahead, guys, and before you even start, I think I speak for every commissioner on the Park and Rec. We're so happy over the last 6 months that you guys did such a good job having meetings and putting this presentation as well as a plan together, and that it's greatly appreciated by us and especially myself included, and let's see what we got.
Okay.
Okay. It's lasting us 3 hours now, right, Bob?
Well, it's about 2
3 hours now, right?
No. Make the presentation. What I'm proposing is we're gonna have all this data to look at, and we're gonna hear the presentation, and maybe then the commission will discuss it more at the next meeting. Yeah.
This is basically just a visual ad. There's lots of detail in this report that we collaborated on. And I have 30 slides. A lot of them are redundant, but I'll just go quickly. You want to start off, or?
Sure. I'll just give a quick kind of like high-level summary, and thank you, Greg, for putting this together and to the entire committee, some who are not here, some who are here. Thanks, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Don. We've done a good job, I think, of taking what is up here, which was our mission and charge, just to remind everyone to develop a prioritized list of recommendations with suggested timings for using the donated funds for the beautification and enhancement of the park. And we consider many things such as ADA accessible playground equipment, landscaping, and whether to retain additional funds. So the report that you have a copy of, and sorry, Missy and Brendan, I should have emailed it to you ahead. I forgot you had joined by phone, but we'll get that out to you so you can review it as well. We'll
Sounds
sort of
great.
walk, Sure, yeah, we'll sort of walk through the report. You'll see that the items we want to touch on, and thanks, Greg, I forgot about this slide here. So the members of the committee, as I mentioned. So we'll walk through what our goals were.
Did that have Martha as ex officio on it? Because
It's okay.
it's okay. Well, Martha requested it, and
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Okay, all right, well, I just want to make sure you're okay. You got enough meetings to go to.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll chime in, that was very collaborative, wonderful group to be part of, and still continues to be. So it was very positive.
Okay. So we'll go through some of our goals, we'll go through the funds that we have available, our priority list of recommendations. This is a high-level overview, some of the key issues that we see necessary for mitigation and resolving, and then some of our capital project and improvement recommendations, along with estimated costs where possible, and we'll close it with a recommendation for the timing of implementation via a phased and sequenced approach, with targeting completion by summer next year. Did we go through the goals? Oh, do you want to go through the goals, Greg?
Just in general, broad brush, we want to enhance the natural beauty of the park. We want to create a space for the community to enjoy many outdoor activities. We want to invest for the maintenance and care of the property long term, and preserving the resource for the future. We have quite some funds available, and some of this has been budgeted before. I believe that the Parks and Rec included approximately $60,000 for the playground area. There's another $20,000 discretionary for parking lot and fencing, which is not going to happen, I understand. And it looks like that last number will need to be adjusted a little bit in terms of how much of the Haynes Park fundraising money remains available. That's what we're looking at, that funds are available now without any additional funds. So, as Sarah was saying, we made a prioritized list of recommendations, 13 of them. Some of them will require more time to chat about than others. And the report has a lot of details on each of these. We try to supply what we anticipate the cost might be associated with each. The first one, Bob, you already talked about quite a bit. I thought Phil was going to be here today. Could you speak to this a little bit?
He had something to do, and I said it was fine.
Okay.
I could fill everybody in, yeah.
We don't have to talk too much about this. Our thought was, this is so important for this to be repaired. Anything we're going to do in terms of, improving the grounds in the beach area is irrelevant until this is taken care of. So it looks like that is going to happen, which is great. We talked about the cost of that. We're referring to the, is it the north and south or east and west driveway we talk about? So the focus so far seems to be on the driveway to the boathouse, both on the west or the south, and that's where this work is going to be. The other driveway seems to be less of an issue, but probably long term is
yeah. But we've had Phil and Ed Adante and myself and Tim. Well, the water definitely doesn't come down from Route 1 on that. There's a lift.
Can I just suggest maybe we reserve kind of the discussion piece of it till we get through all of it, so we can keep in the spirit of moving forward of it, or do we want to comment on each item as it comes?
I'm just afraid I might not remember to say that later.
Very well. That's fair.
So this is that west driveway area near the basketball court, and these are the elements that I believe are going to happen. Phil did talk about the compacted gravel in there also, because there was a question about that, but he was certainly talking about that as part of the plan. Right. So again, I'm not going to belabor this too much, since we did talk about it earlier. One thing we talked a lot about was the goose nuisance mitigation. Okay, and I went there today, take some pictures of the geese running around. Well, that's got to be the first day of this year.
I go by there every morning on the way to coffees, and there's a group that congregates there every morning.
Yeah, maybe they finally figured out, I don't know. But it is a really increasing problem, and ranked as the number 2 issue to be addressed. The dropping on the beach and the grassy area are gross, to say the least, and present a significant annoyance and health concern. We tried to do some research on this. It's a complicated issue. The geese are stubborn. They like where they're at. Any successful remedy has to be multifactorial. We use Connecticut DEP and Humane Society, other states that deal with things. So, reduction, trying to make the site less attractive, harassing or scaring the geese. You can put a coyote there, which will work a little bit, but they're going to get used to it. They're going to know the coyote's not going to do anything. So again, this is
that coyote, I know at Newport they tried that, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Habitat modification seems to be pretty successful. That might be to allow tall grasses and native shrubs around the shoreline, noise-making devices. Right now, I know that dogs are not allowed in the park, but maybe consider allowing dogs in there or something that's more than a scheduled thing. Physical barriers such as fencing. It can be short fencing. The geese are not tall, but it has to be tall enough that it impedes their landing and getting up to onto the beach area, and other physical barriers. We think it's very important to consider hiring a wildlife management specialist to develop a management plan long term. This is something you may not be aware of. This is one of the docks. The goose poop on there in previous years was horrible. And many mornings we were out there sweeping it off. 12 folks came up with this really very simple plan, those PVC pipes with some light rope around it, and it is amazingly effective keeping the geese off of the docks. We had flags on there in the past, and even that wasn't necessary. It's just a simple impediment to keep them off. So again, something to think about in terms of how that can be put in the context of the bigger part issue. So,
but they would still fly in with it, right? I mean, they only swim in.
Typically, they walk onto the shore.
Yeah, they swim in. They don't land in the park.
Yeah.
But how about like Town Woods Park? They land there all the time too.
Yeah, because there's no water there.
Yeah.
Land there and eat the grass.
Okay. All right.
Spark they swim in.
Again, in the context of this plan, we're not thinking we're going to solve the problem. So these are just some things that apparently other communities have done that can be successful, and we suggest probably in conjunction with a wildlife management specialist. There's got to be a budget for this. We learned from Don that in years past, there was as much as $15,000 a year, I believe, for some group mitigation things which have been taken out of the budget. So we feel it's extremely important to include that back in there and to get some type of long-term management plan.
And that was the money that we paid the woman with the...
Yeah, it was taken out by the Board of Finance.
Yeah. Well, because as soon as they saw her car, they didn't even eat the dog. They all left. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. But anyway, so this is just a brief thing. And clearly, there should be 5, 6, 7, 8 different strategies to try to prevent the geese from wanting to come back to them. So that's it. Moving on, we have 13 total. Sarah, you want to mention anything about this?
About the Hand Start plan? Yeah, sure. So we think it's important to put together a professionally created document that would show the existing conditions, dimensions, and elevations, and that would help us for the implementation of the enhancements that are approved and their construction and the long-term maintenance of those enhancements going forward. This is an example that Greg has from the prior work with BSC in the construction of the boathouse. And so this is just an example of it, but it allows us to map out and create a living document that will develop and show out the plan.
I would just like to add that back in 2015, Park and Rec Commission submitted a master plan which included the extra parking area we have. That this has been going on since 2015, but I do agree that we are owed by BSC a plan, so that we should make sure that someone can retrieve that from them.
Bill has been managing that. I guess BSC has not been super responsive so far, we understand, but they do apparently owe us an as-built.
Yes, they do.
And whatever the Parks and Rec ultimately decides to do, I think if they have all of that in the plan, including the dimensions and all that, would be hugely helpful. I think we enjoy having that. Know that the playground is already budgeted for, right? And this playground was and I don't know if you want to share anything about that. looking, I think you got some of the quotes at one time?
Yeah, we have the quotes, and Sarah got
Oh, yeah.
this quote from Dave.
Yeah, fortunately, Dave provided finally the updated quote just this week. We asked him to revise it to reflect the wood chip surfacing, and with that, it was around, with installation, I think $15,000, which is a little surprising, but still far less expensive than the $50,000 for the other surfacing. So that brings the total project estimate to approximately $70,000, which is within the allocated $80,000 that's set aside in the Parks and Rec budget from that $60,000 and $20,000 discretionary that Greg mentioned.
Mm. And that includes installation of this thing? It would be
Does.
volunteers, and his company would do it?
His company would do it.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Good.
So I think this is one of the structures, and plus there's the swings.
Right, yep.
I think that's what the current plan is, right? Yeah. So, so again, in terms of the use of the additional funds, we don't know what the final price is going to be for that, but we thought that could be a nice utilization of the other funds to include them. No, we do have a concrete bulkhead on the dock closer to the boathouse. That's the picture on top there. That's been there a long, long time. And the other dock does not have one. And every year it's a little bit of a guessing game as to where that dock should be. So I think Paul Fuchs and I think you, Don, thought it would be a good idea to have a second, to repair and restore this one, and to have a new one made on the other side, so we know where it is all the time. Every year we got to do it, a couple of feet this way, a couple of feet that way, angle it a little bit for the swimming area. So that should not be a big expense. $2 or $3, $2,000 or $3,000.
I think the Public Works, Don, you said might be able to do that too?
I think Public Works can do that.
So.
That's good. That's good. So another thing we spoke about quite a bit, and this is the existing beach. This is today. It's a little dark in that picture, but there's a lot of detail in the report, so I won't go into that now. In terms of topsoil, and edging, and grass, and all that type of thing, and possible decorative plantings. Because over these last couple of years, it hasn't been too beautiful there, and it's not a huge expense, but we thought it'd be very nice to sort of delineate that better, and to have improved grass there. And so that is something we want to do. I think Terry Lewis, I know, did a lot of work tonight, and gave some of those quotes for us. Felt very strongly about that.
Is that with the landscaper, right?
Yes, from Madison Landscaping.
So one of our neighbors, Terry, our neighbor, she's worked with Madison Landscaping, and he's a landscape architect, went over with Terry and looked at it and gave us some ideas.
Yep, that's right.
A new resident wants to be involved, so that's the thing.
And then we're going to get a neighbor discount?
I think, yeah.
Possible.
I don't think he's looking for business, he works for them.
Oh.
Willing to jump in, he's a young guy,
Well, that's very good.
just like you guys are volunteering, he's willing to jump in too.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
So I think we did include $9,000 estimated install, and then annual upkeep. I think, Sarah, you included in there that as a reference, Public Works budget for Essex and Madison for public park topsoil management only is $6,000 or $7,000 a year. So we thought in order to, that's something that probably should be a long-term budget item also, to keep that looking beautiful, and hopefully keep the geese away at the same time.
That's right.
Moving things along, the pavilion, had a lot of conversation about this. I know that's something that Parks and Rec Commission has approved before. I know there was some discussion about where that should be. It was originally planned to be near the basketball court, but that was, the plan was to move that to another location around there. And so I think when we first met Sarah, it's safe to say we weren't so sure that we really endorsed the notion of a pavilion at all. But the more we talked about it, we thought about it, we thought it could be a nice resource in terms of, sheltering from the elements and rain and sun, and to allow picnicking, and for young parents, presumably close to the new playground, so that it could be easily viewed, and that would be a really nice asset. So ultimately, we did endorse moving ahead with that, and assuming that it's going to be in that location as described, and we also were thinking that it would not have a concrete base. I think you spoke to that earlier. Something that's more permeable, and we don't want to pave as little of the park as possible and leave it as natural as possible. So after coming up with that idea, that's basically what we endorse on the pavilion. And we know that that's already been the down payment's been made, and we would imagine that some of the funds from the fundraiser would be.
Yeah, I personally think it's going to get a lot of use. If you look on nice days down at Haynes Park, a lot of people go down there and picnic for lunch, and I think
The one at Town Woods gets used all the time.
Yeah. I agree, Bob. I think we had some pushback initially, but I think ultimately we were all
Good.
in favor of that. So we're very excited about that, and the funds should be available. This is a recommendation that we got from someone who came to one of our meetings, and maybe a little bit of a challenge. I don't think we're imagining there's going to be some big water fountain necessarily, but we learned that a lot. I think it's a lot of the youth rowers. I didn't really know this myself. They go into the bathroom and they fill the water bottles with water from the public bathroom, which I think is not really what was intended. The water is potable, Don, I understand, but I think it's probably not optimal, is fair to say. So we thought it would be nice to have some type of purified water filling station. Exactly where that would be, I'm not sure. And perhaps a foot rinse area also from sand, so that doesn't get tracked into the cars. I think, Sarah, you particularly thought that would be a nice thing. And hopefully to wash some of the goose droppings that we hope we'll see less of in the future. So shouldn't be a huge expense, but I think we have some research to do. Terry has some acquaintances, I think we're quite well versed in that. I don't want to speak too much on the technical stuff. There's some recommendations here in the written report about how that water could be treated, or some type of Blu-ray, I forget what it was exactly. Let's try to address that. So again, this is the concept, and the details would need to be forthcoming.
Didn't we discuss doing that at the Town Woods Park, or?
Never happened.
Never happened. Okay. Yeah, I mean, ultraviolet light or something to treat the water.
That's right.
Okay, well, this is something,
We thought it was worth further investigation. It should be a huge expense. I think it would be a nice benefit in Haynes Park, and probably Town Woods too. So,
yeah, because we always have a problem with the wells being contaminated. But they're tested, every week, right, Don? Yeah, every week, just to make sure. But that is potable.
Oh, every week seasonally.
In the season, during the season, Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The picture is not Haynes Park, but...
Jumping about.
Wow, I love that flavor.
We're gonna build a mountain, too?
They have the line.
But we talked with an outside person who came in, really endorsed and liked the idea of having kayak racks in the park. Not exactly sure where they would be, but it seems that would be a nice additional use of the park. I understand that, I think at Town Landing, the Pilgrim's Landing,
Pilgrim.
other places, there are racks there. There's some type of permitting system, I think, for that.
Yeah.
And so a system like that would certainly have to be developed. We all thought that would be a really nice use. Again, I'm not exactly sure where that would be. It shouldn't be a huge cost. And after material.
When we had the meeting for the Safe Kayak Launch, we discussed that with, must have been 15 people that were there, 20 people, and one of the concerns was, well, if you have kayaks, where's going to be a place for canoes, or can sculls you call them, your boats, and that was never going to happen.
There's not the intent, it's only kayaks, and it's can be run through harbor management, and they will make sure that it's only kayaks. And they will have to have a permit, and they have to keep it locked, and they have to get it out there.
It's something to consider, as long as we don't have the people that have canoes saying, well, how about for us, or.
So again, this recommendation is going to be up to the commission to ultimately buy into that and endorse it, but we thought it would be a really nice enhancement to the park. Moving along, the last three things are quick. Long-term maintenance, again, we're going to invest a lot of money and resources into the park. We want to make sure it's going to be looking good long-term.
So, we endorse the notice of the seasonal checklist outlining the tasks that need to be completed each season, and we want to make sure that things are budgeted for proper care and maintenance of the turf and other things. Enhanced security in the park, I believe Parks and Rec has talked about this before. We want to discourage vandalism, have remote cameras, that type of thing. I think Bob, you talked about that some.
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons we've delayed putting the pavilion in, because in the first 2 years of the restroom, we had 4 vandalism incidents in the first 2 years of that. We had one within, 2 or 3 days, right, when it opened?
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah, and so, Martha, I know about a year and a half ago, maybe a little around that, we talked about that, and we were talking about 3 years ago, we actually had estimates for security cameras from 2 firms, one in Old Lyme, one in East Lyme, and but that at that point we were talking about doing it at several places, like for instance, town hall, other places, police department, maybe certain other areas, but we haven't progressed too much on that. Martha, could you explain? Yeah.
A little bit of an update. The cameras they want them to be able to work with our network system so that we can basically pull up the film from one location, if possible, because they'll be networked together. But the front doors of this building, and we've just finished interviews for the facilities director, so we're getting closer. But the front doors to this building need to be wired and be done, and then they're going to try out these cameras that have been suggested to us from 2 other towns. They're going to check them on there, make sure they get them hooked up correctly, and then from there, those would also go to the senior center, town woods, and other areas that we would want to do. So that we're using the same system, the same type of networking, and that way, instead of every department trying to pick something else,
right,
we need it to be unique to the town, that it's all the same.
And a centralized area would be like the police department, maybe where the monitors would go, or?
Well, I think that Tom Meyer has a handle on that. There might be a couple of spots, Don, I don't know if you mentioned, but the new senior center definitely is going to need new cameras because the system that was there was just not working at all.
Yeah.
So we will do our best. It may not work as quickly as we all want, but it is moving in the right direction.
Is there a chance that maybe it could be put into next year's budget?
It's a chance. You can certainly put it in. What I think the most important thing is that A, the cameras will be available. 2, I think everybody needs to talk to Tom to coordinate what their individual pricing is. It would seem to me like it just could be a capital expense for the town and just do all of them at once.
Yeah.
Every department putting in $60,000 here.
And I think part of the problem is we don't have a facilities director anymore because.
No, we do.
Oh, you hired one?
Well, Tom is our facilities director, but now we're moving in a different direction. So he's going to do IT and facilities is going to be someone else. So
would it be possible to hire somebody to be the coordinator of just that project, and not necessarily a facilities?
Tom will be the coordinator of that project, because it'll be IT.
Oh, yeah, because I've been talking to Tom ever since he's come here.
I'm a little frustrated, but we'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
But are you saying the new cameras will go into the senior center during that renovation?
They will put them in at the end of the renovation, once it's ready. So that would be next, hopefully November. They're putting shovels in the ground at the end of this November, and then beginning of December this month here. And then the 11-month project for that. But that doesn't mean that yours, I think they want to make sure that they work on this system right now, that it's compatible with what we can do. Once they have that down, once this person comes on board, we completed by December 1st, then hopefully this would be the first thing that whoever the new first selectman is will get started on, that will prioritize this as important. Because it's really a domino effect. Once this goes, everything else can start to fall into place.
Yeah, and the way the technology changes, it's like you want to try and get whatever the best is right now, because in 5 years'
And all the
time,
same model and all
yeah, in
that.
5 years, the cameras may be even better.
And Andy Russell and Tom went up to Chester and Deep River to see what they're using, and that they found something that they feel is good for us as well.
Oh, good.
I think that's what it is.
Well, hopefully we'll get going on that, and maybe if everything, the planets were lined up correctly, we can maybe get it into next year's plan.
I got the outlier.
I mean, it's a good point, though. I mean, we just did the new courts at Cross Lane, and it would be nice to, keep an eye on those.
Or the way it could be approached, if you don't have all the money right now, do it in stages.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could build a capital project like that, where, just like we do for a fire truck, right? We put a little money aside every year, and do a little bit more every year. But the problem with that is you need to buy all the cameras at the same time. You need to invest in all the cameras so that you have the same camera. Otherwise, cameras change, and now you've got some software that's working with one, and that's where we ended up before. We don't want to do that.
Right.
In the meantime, do the police patrol these areas? What's up, pretty good?
No, not that much, really.
I had the same question last time. I think it's a good question, but I guess we shouldn't go there.
Not trying to go through.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for those insights, Martha. Let's see what we can do about that. I think this is a long overdue project that we should be doing in the town of Old Lyme. Okay. I'm sorry, Greg.
So moving on quickly, this is a really long-term thing. I think you probably support the notion that Lawrence Michelle on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know the last time it was dredged, it was quite some time ago.
Oh, yeah, well over 20 years ago.
Yeah, but if it's going to be used for swimming, probably would be useful. Go look into that. Terry, again, Lewis had some insight into how that would work, but I imagine that would require a lot of state permitting and grant money and all that kind of thing. So that's a big, long-term project. And last thing we talked about is trying to develop a way to park more efficiently, I guess, in the lot that we have. The recent changes to the lot were a huge improvement. I think it's obvious, the days of the rowers are there, and the mornings are probably the busiest. But with some parking off site now, I think that's been helping quite a bit. But we talked about a few different things that are included in the report. I don't know if you want to think about delineating some kind of lines. I'm not sure if that will be helpful or not.
Has the rowing
I think
association...
if you put lines in there, you're going to get less cars in there.
Yeah, and has the rowing association talked about limiting membership? Because I know on some of the crowded days, there's barely enough room for everybody to park. They talked about limiting or also buddying up for 2 or 3 people come in one car rather than...
So we have done that, and again, as you know, on a road. So some do park in town woods, some do carpool. We've talked about, again, I don't want to speak for the association, but possibly rowing at different times so that there are, actually in the fall season when the juniors are there, a lot of the kids park there. And then the masters come in the evening, so there's a period of time when there's an overlap and there's quite a bit of congestion going around through there, but try to dovetail that so that it's going to be less congested at certain times would be something that we could look at.
I know that last year when Phil supervised, we put about 11 or 12 new spots in there. That helped out a lot, I thought.
Huge help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think, again, some people parking off-site, trying to have sort of different shifts of rowing, and carpooling are all great things, in addition to the additional spots that we have. So moving along, we're taking up a lot of time here. Very briefly, I don't know, Sarah, if you want to talk at all about the timing? This is all again in the printed report.
Right, sure, yeah. So briefly, as I mentioned at the outset, we would recommend a coordinated and phased sequence. What we're envisioning now in view of the items that we laid out in the 13 recommendations would be that phase 1 would be this fall, winter. It would include development of the master plan, implementation of the drainage project, Bob, that you touched on, which is hopefully starting next week, as you said. Mm-hmm. The concrete bulkhead, which it sounds like Public Works may be able to undertake, as Don mentioned, as well as more research and development, potentially around the goose mitigation as we head into the winter season. Phase 2, beginning next spring, again, following with goose mitigation and implementing the plan on that multifaceted approach. Capital improvement installation, this would include the playground that is fully funded, the pavilion, again funded, and the water filler foot shower and kayak and bike rack that Greg mentioned. Phase 3, we would see in the summer next year. Goose mitigation leads, because it comes in all the phases here. Landscape improvements. Given seasonality, we'll need more research around when the right timing is to implement these things, but topsoil, grass, sand, edging, and plantings. And then finally, post-summer, continuing to kick out the geese, annual upkeep, and potentially more research around the dredging that Greg mentioned, as well as security cameras that Martha touched on.
Okay, so moving on. I want to say in part because we enjoyed our time together so much, but it was actually, it is a great community to work with. But, we, I think, really feel invested in it and passionate about it and really improving the park. So I'm not exactly sure what the commission thought the sunset would be for this particular subcommittee. But I think we feel pretty strongly that we would like to continue to help, and that the commission might consider extending this so we can include in the implementation, we can participate, I should say, in the oversight implementing the enhancements that we were talking about. So I'd like to hear more about that. Further, I think we were charged, the Haynes Park fundraising group, we were asked to review and to endorse the use of those funds. So Candace, Skip, and I have communicated via email. I've given them updates from time to time on what's going on. And all three of us, of course me, but the other two also endorsed this. So I have a prepared document that the three of us will sign and provide to the finance folks in Town Hall, saying that we are all on board with that. So that's it.
Thanks. Great job.
Okay, well, it's a very nice presentation, Sarah, Greg, and like I said before, I think I speak for every commissioner. We really appreciate you guys and all the time you spent on that. And I think we got a lot of information to absorb. Maybe at the next meeting we can have more discussion about this and what priorities may be to implement as much as we can with the funding we have and the commitment we have from the town.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would recommend to the commission that don't just wait till the next meeting to show up and say, oh yeah, I got to look at this. Put some reminders out there to the commission weekly if you have to that say, this is coming up, so be prepared.
Right.
But everybody will, in their daily life, will all of a sudden it's the next meeting and they go like, I didn't know.
You didn't have chat. Well,
our subcommittee has been very engaged. I know you know that.
Yeah, go ahead, Martha.
Well, two things. One is, Greg, if you could send this to Katie Belaga, she can put this on Park and Rec webpage, so that the public would be able to see this report, and the report can go up as well. Sarah, if you want to send that to her, she'll put it up there as something that people can read.
Mm-hmm.
That's first of all part of transparency. But the other thing I just
and you're going to attach. Oh, sorry, Martha, but you're going to attach this, Mary Ellen, to the minutes.
You don't even have to attach it to the minutes. It can be a separate report. It can be up there on your webpage as a report. It'll have, you'll just click on it, it'll be a PDF.
Oh, okay.
I think that's better.
Oh, that'd be fine, just as
Because then more
long,
people are gonna see it.
right, and you're gonna put the slides on there. I think that's a great idea.
I just want to let you know, and I can't remember if should I tell you about the kiosk? Did I send it to you? Did I send it to you?
I saw an email from you, I just haven't opened
It's
it.
okay.
Sorry.
So I'm going to go back in history again, as in good old one. 2018, there were a group of people from the Council of Lines, the state of Connecticut, the Connecticut River Watershed Council, Long Island Sound Study, and Hartford Foundation that provided money for a kiosk explaining the fish ladder system at the dam over on Town Road.
Oh, yes.
So the kiosk was purchased with these funds. And I think it was rather expensive. And a kiosk is a three-sided informational, educational thing. And it was bought by Fossil Industries. When it came, the brackets that came to put it together were incorrect. And after some reading at our Public Works Department, I was given the incorrect bracket, and I have gotten the company to give us the correct bracket 5 years later. So Ellie Zarnowski was the lead on that, and she is thrilled that the brackets are here, and she would like to put the kiosk up. And it was somewhere over, it was staked out at one time, John?
It was, the stakes are gone.
Yeah, the stakes are gone. But she had an area kind of over where the swings or playground had been.
No, it's more, wow.
It's where the other, the very end of the beach area, there's an area of grass before that, and I think that's where we talked about putting it, because, we...
And she had Ed's blessing because it was not going to interfere with his mowing, too, so that was another thing. Anyway, I just wanted you to know the brackets are here. I know that they want to put it up. I don't know if you want to send Don down with Ed and Ellie to sort of mark it out again, but that would be, and taking into consideration where the playground is possibly going to be. But she would really like it up because it's 5 years of sitting in Public Works.
In the same time frame, I think they should Public Works should put the sign up by the sidewalk area.
Okay.
What they're doing, it should stop.
Yeah, because they'll be pouring concrete and stuff, so that would be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because last time when it was up there, we just put it in there temporarily, it wasn't concreted in.
Yeah, I had one criticism of that, because you can't see the fish ladder there, because it's over by Townwoods Road. Was there going to be something added to the sign to show where the fish ladder really is? It's on there, because I never saw the finished product.
The reason is they can't put it over there because there's no...
Well, I know, there's no place to park or really stop there.
I think it's probably about 6.5, 7 feet, so...
It's a three-sided thing.
Three-sided thing. It was approved back in 2018 somewhere, so...
Should it be,
I remember.
should it be
I think that it's,
incorporated? Oh, sorry.
I don't want it to it's gotta be in a place where it doesn't interfere with your site of the
Yeah, I was just thinking it should be.
water and kids in the water and...
In the plan.
No, it won't be in here, the swimming area.
Oh.
It's going to be over to the right.
Okay.
Where they had it staked out was fine.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
Well, we decided to wait too until all the construction was done. Remember, that was back.
That was part of it as well, yeah.
Yeah, but then...
But then the brackets, the whole
Then the
bracket.
bracket.
Is it something that should flow with whatever the landscape design plan
That's what I'm thinking.
would happen down there? Like, is it something that you would, like, try to incorporate a way to walk, along whatever these plantings are and get over to the sign? Or is it just something that needs to be there? Like, I just don't know if it's going to look out of place if there's this beautification project, everything's all beautiful, and then there's that thing over there.
Well, I think that it would be nice if we landscaped around it once it was in, like with some grasses or something that would just be
Right.
around the base.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the pillars are like 6 by 6, and they have to be set on a concrete pad, made of round thing, that we put in, and then they'll put it up, and it's 3-sided, and it looks very nice. I mean, it's beautifully done. I would just remember to see it. And it's just an educational piece, but if we then landscaped around it with some like sea grass, which would be nice, and just, you didn't be around the side, but still be able to read it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds, well, I'm glad it's finally gonna be done with the right brackets.
I would say it looks about 6.5 to 7 feet, but the pillar, the platform has to be created, so I'm assuming there's gonna be a few inches above ground when they put the footings in. And Ed, he's got a plan, Ed's got a plan how to do it, and the guys are figuring out the measuring. I don't think it's that huge around, like 3.
Did you send pictures in the email? I don't think I got this email. Okay. I'll forward it to everyone. I have it.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll find it. You guys talk.
Okay. All right, so we will have to put a reminder in the minutes for everyone to start looking at the information that Sarah and Greg provided. And so at least the Park and Rec Commissioner should get all that information, depending on, I don't know when you're going to be able to put it on the Park and Rec website, but at least the commissioners should all get this information.
Right. Yeah, we'll work together to send it to Katie to get it posted, and I'll send reminders ahead of our December meeting.
Yeah.
That everyone take a look at it so we
maybe
can talk
like,
about it. Some of the budgeting decisions that come up in January, we want to make sure we don't miss out on that.
Yeah. So you're going to send the reminders?
Sure.
Okay. Well, that'd be.
And also, don't you want to say to the members that what are we looking for exactly? I mean, are we looking when everybody reviews it?
Yes.
What is it exactly that we're?
I think should be a prioritization.
Do they feel differently about the way it's been prioritized?
Yeah, and I think also that maybe some things weren't included. I didn't see anything about handicap picnic tables, or did you have that in the report? That we would need handicap.
I'm not sure I put ADA accessible on that specific item, but we can note it.
Yeah, because I remember looking up those, and it's so funny just to have it like that. Don goes, what does that add? Oh, that adds about $800 to $1,000 to a picnic table. But I think we should also include some of that. And I don't know.
We want people to review it.
But we want Park and Rec members to review at least what we have now prior to the meeting next, so we can at least have initial, it may not be the final discussion on, but a discussion on.
Yeah, I'll send it around again closer to the meeting. We may make updates as we learn more on the cost.
Yeah, like for instance, I'll work on this tonight to get an update of this thing. But this is going to be included in the Park and Rec minutes, correct?
Yeah, send me the digital copy.
Yeah, well,
Since you put it in the Word document.
Yeah, well, I'll tell Betsy to send you something. I don't know how to do all that stuff, but she does.
You sent it to me already. I can update it and send it on.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but my wife is the one that does all this, so I mean.
You sent me the right Word file.
I don't really, I'm not good at all this stuff. It's, but anyway, all right, well, I think that's been very good. It's been a very productive meeting.
Also was our public conference.
Yes, we didn't have any correspondence, or the public comment, no. So, unless, Martha, you want to add something now before we adjourn?
I'm just trying to find the picture of it, but it's hard.
Okay.
To adjourn.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn?
I second.
7:31.
Okay. Second? Yeah. Did you second it, Sarah? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Brendan and Missy, if you've stuck with us all this time. And so we're all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
To adjourn? Okay. Opposed? No. Saying no? Okay. We're done.